Hi, this is Teresa Widowson, and I'm here at the Poppy Jasper Film Festival headquarters right next to the Cinelex Theaters in Morgan Hill. I'm going to be talking to some of the filmmakers, actors, and writers who produced and wrote some of these great films that are being shown at the festival. Here I am with Joe Estevez. And Joe, you've made a lot of films over the years.
Yes.
And how do you pick which projects you're going to work on?
It's most of the time the projects pick me. But lately, I've been trying to pick projects that have a that say something, that speak to the heart of man, that have some profundity to them. I've done so many horror movies and scary movies and such, and so lately I've been kind of turning them down. Having said that, I was just offered the attack of the 30-foot cholo, and I couldn't resist it, so I'm going to shoot that because it's real tongue-in-cheek. I just finished a movie called The Haunting of Parsons Place, which this tie came from, and this belt. I got the wardrobe. But I think it is, it's scary, but it's uplifting. It's got a good message.
It seems you lean a lot toward the dark films, and is that true, and if so, what intrigues you about that genre? So what did intrigue you?
Well, I tell you, with scary films, with horror films, with that genre, that horror is an international language, and so whether it plays in Germany or Italy or Spain or wherever, it scares everybody equally, So it doesn't. The English language isn't such a deterrent as it would be with a drama or with a comedy.
Yeah, it's funny that horror is more translatable actually to everyone than comedy, because you really need to know the language.
Yeah, and comedy is so much different here in the United States, say, than in England or Mexico or Germany. It's really surprising what makes people laugh here and makes them cringe other places.
Right,
Yeah.
like food.
Yes, yeah, but. Getting the German to laugh, boy, I tell you, you earned your supper on that one. But I love you guys. I love you.
What kind of characters do you most like to play?
I love comedy, but then I love drama. I love to work. I did a play in Ireland called A Short Wake, and my sister came to see it, and she was in Spain, and she said, I don't know what this has got to do with your question. But I have 8 brothers, and she said, I saw every one of my brothers in your character that you were playing. I mean, I steal from everybody and everything, and I don't steal, I borrow.
Well, that's what you do in life, though, right? You're putting all your experiences together to develop whatever character, right?
Exactly. Yeah, thank you for answering that for me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite actors?
Sidney Greenstreet, Humphrey Bogart. Those are my 2 top favorite actors. I love the film noir. I'm trying to think who played the Thin Man in God, because I mean, he's just absolutely marvelous. Just the way that he captures your attention and holds an audience. But I heard a guy once say, he said, you don't have these people that are impersonators anymore. He said, because the actors nowadays, they're interchangeable. Back in the day, they were real actors with real personalities. There was only one John Wayne, only one Brando, only one Dean, Yeah, and now, it's about 30 seconds and then seeing an explosion or a murder or something. It's not so much about, actors don't carry the films that much anymore. The car crashes and it's not about personalities.
Yeah, the character stories are getting fewer and fewer.
Yeah, and it's a shame. It really is a shame because we're we're really missing, I think, what movies really are about, you know. And my speech today is going to touch on that.
You're currently working on Eamon's Road, The Haunting of Pearson Place you
Yeah,
mentioned,
just finished that. Yeah.
Bunyan, and there's
Bunyan was terrific. Yeah, nobody's done a movie about Paul Bunyan before. I couldn't believe it, but I kind of play Paul Bunyan's sidekick, you know, an old mountain man, and I had to grow a beard and everything. And as a matter of fact, that's how I got the mustache. I thought, well, I'll keep the mustache.
well, that stash looks good.
Yeah, you know, thank you. Wouldn't look good on you, but then that's all right. Yeah, yeah.
Well, now you've got 3 more in the works, though, right? Let's see, Office Paranormal, The Broken, and Interstate. Is that right?
Yeah, I Interstate. I don't know when that's going to happen. I always got something out there cooking. You know, I mean.
Yeah, how do you keep all that straight?
I got this agent, you know. I said, you got to be in Chicago, you know, on Tuesday. Okay, all right. So I'm at the airport, you know. But, I said to myself about 3 years ago, I'm going to slow down. I'm just, you know, and this last year has been the busiest year I've ever had in my life. So
I was going to say, it doesn't look like you've slowed down much.
Yeah. Can I just mention a movie that I did in Texas called Doonby, Doonby? And it's a cross between It's a Wonderful Life and, oh gosh, I can't think of the other movie it's compared to. But it's a beautiful, beautiful film. And I hate to brag, but I think it's probably one of the 2, 3 best films that I've ever done in my life. And it has an incredible character about the film. I mean, it's just full of joy and love and goodness, and it's an adventure film. Got great music, great characters, and I just hope if you get a chance, and it's going to be opening, I think we're getting 3,000 screens, so coming out in April, so please go see it, and it's a feel-good film, and I'm very, very proud of it. I played the bad guy. I play the bad guy, but it's great fun. It's great fun. Out of there?
Oh,
okay.
no.
All right.
Oh,
yeah.
shoot, I was going to ask you how you came to the Morgan Hill Poppy
This guy
Jasper
right
Film
here.
Festival.
Just slip in here a second. Okay. Gary Harmon, he's the guy that brought me to Morgan Hill.
Yay.
Keeps bringing me back, you know? Yeah. I love this guy. I love this guy.
I'm here with Joe Estevez and Rudy Luna, and I think they're here to talk about their new movie called Primates. Is that right?
Yes, and we're here again with Teresa. Yes, or at least I am.
This is my first time with Teresa, so you're the repeat client.
Okay.
I'm the first client.
We'll let it slide for
Oh,
right
wait,
now.
this is going to be
All right, yeah. You go with it. It's your genius. It's your film. So talk a little bit about it, Rudy.
Well, the film has a lot of different components. It's called Primates, and it's about evolutionary psychology. And it's, I always tell the women audience is if you wanted to know how men behave and why they do certain things that they do, then this is a really good film for it. And it's based on that theory. And it takes place in a cigar lounge with 4 guys who end up talking about some personal issues, about relationships. And there's one lead character in there who's a psychologist, and he ends up talking to them about evolutionary psychology and why they did what they did in a relationship. And each man has a separate story. And so it's kind of a film about men bonding.
When I read Rudy's script, I mean, it was, my God, I get to play this character. But it is so incredibly vulnerable as an actor and as a human being. You can't play this character without stripping down to your bare essentials.
When you're in a really good conversation and you sit there and 2 hours go by or an hour and a half go by and you realize this is a really interesting conversation. This is what this film is really about.
We got Will Wallace, we got Leo Rossi, and the 4th gentleman is
Ethan Phillips.
But I think Rudy cast it well. Because we're all playing off of one another, and everybody in the film is very honest with their emotions, and at the same time, everybody is incredibly professional.
I'm always concerned about a female's opinion, and at the end of the film, I always get a really positive feedback from both male and female, and married people and single people, and everybody has an opinion about relationships and love and sex, and this film covers it all.
You think you'll work together on something in the future?
I tell you, Rudy, I mean, I'd say this even if he wasn't standing here. He's one of my favorite directors to work with. I mean, he's very open. Rudy has a talent to getting the best out of his actors. Rudy's very vulnerable himself, and he opens up to you. You know, I mean, who he is, and it makes it easy to open up to him. You know, you have to, as an actor, you really have to. You know, we have all these emotions and all these, and we have to give those to somebody that we trust. You know, and a lot of directors, you know, I'm just going to do my stuff, hit my mark. You know, but Rudy, I give everything I got.
I still find moments in the film that I didn't direct, that just happened. And I think it happened because when you do a film like this or this subject matter and the actors start living that or experiencing the truth in it, then you'll find a lot of things just kind of happen organically, not in words, but in a lot of non-verbals. And I'll watch it and I'll still catch something that he's done or another actor and go, it's brilliant, it's beautiful, and forget that I was part of that. One actor had his mother there, and this is a grown-up guy in his mid-40s, and he was very concerned. And most actors aren't, because this is a character, and people understand this is not me. But he was embarrassed because it felt so real and so honest. And I think that he told me later, I apologize, I had to leave, but my mom was sitting next to me, and I was like...
This is Terrence Malick's wife, and she's a good friend of mine. And I was embarrassed, you know. Yeah. And it's like they know something about you now that you don't know about them.
It sounds completely intriguing now, and I'm sure everyone out there is dying to see it now as well. So just keep watching your film festivals near you, and it'll probably pop up. Thank you, you guys. I really appreciate it.
She's a doll.
Yeah, thanks.
Hi, I'm here now with Terry Hanauer and Peter Lefcourt. And you guys, first of all, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with me.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely.
And you came here to the Poppy Jasper Film Festival. How the heck did you how are you here in Morgan Hill, this little town?
Well, actually, last season, Peter wrote a play. He'd written this play before called La Ronde de Lunch, which is a hilarious, very funny play. And I directed it in Los Angeles, and Fiona Gubelman is one of the stars of that production. She was fabulous in it, and her mother, I guess, is involved in Victoria Battison is involved in the Poppy Jasper Film Festival, and had the idea to invite us to come, and that is why we're here. I'm very happy to be here.
And we survived that experience with Terry directing my work. We had a wonderful time, but director-writer relationship is sometimes a little problematic, but we had a great time, and the only problem is we were obsessed with the play, so we did nothing but talk about it for months and months and months. Terry's also directed short films, one of them based on a screenplay of mine, and another one that she adapted from one of my stories, Recycling Flow, which she's going to be showing at the film festival.
And it's won several awards, and it's a great, great short film with Patrick Fabian is in it, and he actually starred in The Last Exorcism, which just came out recently and made like $28 million or something. It was made for $2 million. It's a great, great, very funny piece, and Peter and I guess, we're very happily married, and we work together really well, which we didn't know until we actually started working together. My part of my thrill to work with him is that I really, really respect his talent, and he has such a great, funny perspective on life, and I have, I guess, as well, and together, really, we create entertainment that is very, very special, and it seems that the audiences really, really enjoy it.
We got over a couple of hurdles.
We're going to talk about the hurdles now?
Well, this is a fun hurdle, actually.
Oh, good, I can't wait.
When I created and produced a show for Showtime called Beggars and Choosers, which essentially was a satire on the television business, there was an age-appropriate role for Terry to play Brian Kerwin's wife on the series, and she obviously wanted it. She was an actress at the time, and I said to her quite sincerely, I said, I don't think I could survive this experience without having you to support me as my wife. And she said, okay, that's fine, and we hired someone else. But all her actor friends would say things like, you know, you can always find another husband, but a lead on a series. So we've had our moments.
But he did write me a part in that show, a great part. Lillian Wackenhut, who was a sperm appropriating endocrinologist. So we got what I wanted.
Sperm appropriating endocrinologist.
Right. That's the kind of humor, right? I mean, I was a doctor, a lesbian doctor, and actually this is quite interesting that Peter actually got to cast the woman who played my lesbian lover on the show. So
That was fun. Beggars and Choosers is going to be available shortly on Netflix as a DVD. The show, we made 42 hours of it in Vancouver, and it was on Showtime 1999-2000. It's been lying around in a vault for 10 years. But finally, Disney, who owns the domestic rights, is going to put it out, so you can get it on Netflix. And it's a very, very funny show, especially Lillian Wackenhut.
thank you. And also Christina Hendricks was in it, who is now in Mad Men, and Tuck Watkins was in it, who is now on Desperate Housewives. And there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful actors who were in it who have moved on and have great careers.
Of course, you're an actress, but you're a director, you're a writer, and you're also a photographer, right? And so is there any of those that you find more fulfilling than another?
Right now, absolutely directing. You know, I had a very good career as an actress, a lot of television and commercials and some film work. Photography was always something I was really great at because I could really bring out whatever was inside the person I was photographing. And I found that by melding them together, the photography and the acting, what came out of that was my ability really to direct. So it's very natural for me. I'm really thrilled to do it. I love great stories. I love bringing out the best in each person that I work with. And it's definitely directing. And I love writing too because, you know, there are stories in me and in all of us. And I think we're all multi-talented, truly, in life, and a lot of people don't admit that in themselves, or they're embarrassed, or whatever, you know, but I think we are. And so when you really say, yes, I am this, I am this, I am this, let's move it all forward, it's a beautiful thing to experience and also to bring out in another person and bring out the best and all the bests in them. And I think directing right now is the kind of career that really does that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do get stuck in a rut sometimes too and don't expand themselves and, you know, just explore their other talents.
And who said that you could only do one thing in life? I mean, really, who said that? Same person who said, you know, after you're 40, you can't wear sleeveless. Like that.
Or you have to, you know, you have to go natural gray, or you have to, I don't know, I can think of a lot. You can't wear white shoes after Easter. Wait, is that the way it is?
Labor Day.
Oh, Labor Day, right.
Right, but we live in California, so you can wear white shoes anytime you want.
Or no shoes.
Or no shoes.
Peter, you've had a lot of success over the years. Do you have any idea when you, no, no, I wasn't going to say that. No, I was going to say, do you know when a show's going to work? Do you just have that feeling?
No, listen, entertainment business is not an exact science, and nobody quite knows what's going to work. What you do is you put out your best work, and you hope that you can put together the right, the stars have to align in a certain way. I've done hundreds and hundreds of hours of television, a lot of it very mediocre, but some of it I'm very proud of. You know, Cagney and Lacey, we won an Emmy, and that was when the stars really aligned beautifully. Beggars and Choosers. I did work on Desperate Housewives, which was a lot of fun, and I'm not going to reveal where the bodies are buried. I'm sorry. You can cajole me. I do know that question, but I can't tell you. And actually, Terry and I met. She photographed me for the jacket for one of my novels. I'm also a novelist, and I published 7 novels, and after the first novel was published, Terry came over to photograph me, and we sort of fell in love that way. So it was interesting.
That's so sweet. I was going to ask you if you ever photographed him.
Yes, what happened is that he was over at a mutual friend, it turned out, and he saw a photograph that I'd done of her with her dog up on the wall. And he said, "That's a great photograph. Who did it?" And she said, "Terry." And then he said, "Is she cute?"
Men are dogs. We know that. We know that. So.
And my friend Julie Sayers said, "Yes." And is she available? Yes. So he kind of arranged that Simon and Schuster would hire me to shoot the back of his next book. And that is how we met. But how we really met, that is how we met. But I was over at his house helping him choose what I thought his good wardrobe should be for the shot. And I was in his closet, and I thought, wow, I'm in this man's closet.
This man needs help. Is that what you thought?
Yes. So that's really how it started.
And has she helped you? Do you dress better now?
Absolutely. Well, look at this. No, this is my writer outfit. No, Terry is my wardrobe consultant.
If he likes it or not.
I'm a writer. I dress like a writer, which is studied neglect. But, we enjoy each other. We complement each other, I think, as writers and directors. And Terry's also a wonderful writer. But I look at her scripts. I give her notes. She looks at my scripts. She gives me notes. We don't agree on everything, thank God. I think if we agree on everything, then we're in trouble. But I think it's a lot of fun to work with the person that you also sleep with. Why not? It saves on the commuting.
Have there been any significant challenges for you as a woman director, or is that kind of, we're all past that now?
Yeah, we're not definitely past that at all, really. I'm a newer director, but I never have a thing in my brain that, being a woman is this. I just never, to me, a person is a person, and the best person for the job is who I want. So when I approach something, I just assume if I want it, that I'll be the best person for it. So, but I was just at AFM in Los Angeles, the American Film Market, and there was a whole panel about women and the chick flick, and some very interesting directors were there. Lisa Chodolenko, who did The Kids Are All Right. And, when she said this, and I agree, when you call yourself something, a female director, a black director, whatever, you kind of marginalize yourself. When AFI, because I went to AFI, started, there were 4% of all the directors were women. And when I did AFI, which is a few years ago, 7%. So that's not a huge difference. And it's a struggle, I think. It's a struggle, but I'm up for struggles, really. So it doesn't really bother me, but it's just part of what's out there in the world, yeah.
Well, hopefully, over time, this will all just be a history,
Right, but I want it to be more, in my time and not in somebody else's time, But yes, I hope so.
What's interesting, though, is that women actually know how to get things out of men much more than men do. And over the years, the prejudice is that the prejudice was that women didn't have the technical interest or knowledge to do the machinery. That's the easy part of directing. Anybody can learn that. Man, woman, child, how to move a camera. I don't want to trivialize it. It's important, but what's the key roles for a director are understanding the script and communicating with actors. And women do that as well as men, if not sometimes better, because I think women are more collaborative. I think that's true. They're not quite as ego-driven. And I think in many ways women can make, if not as directors as well, sometimes better.
Thank you, darling.
Uh-huh.
Did you prompt him before we came in? So do you guys get involved in other film festivals? I know I understand why you're here at this one. Do you travel to others, or do you have connections?
Well, I have done 2 short films, and they were at different film festivals. So we did a lot of traveling when those were out there, like the Cannes Film Festival and lots in California and the States. And we don't do as much probably as we should, though I want to go to the Berlin Film Festival coming up this February, because I have some projects that I'm attached to direct, and I'm now involved in what it takes to produce. And so I want to get these done. I want to meet the right people who have finance ability, and we're trying to package a couple of things. Fred Roos is executive producing one of my projects, who's Francis Ford Coppola's producers and Sofia Coppola's producers. So we're starting to move into the other film festivals to see, okay, who's out here, who do I need to talk to, who do we sell this to, who do we connect with. So yeah.
Yeah, Terry, Recycling Flow is available on Terry's website.
Yes.
Which is?
www.terryhanauer, TerriHanauer.com.
We'll put that on. We'll put that on the bottom of the screen too, so people will remember. So you've both had obviously a lot of success in the industry. Do you have any tips for people out, getting started in the industry?
I do, actually. I think that you have to truly find out where your talents are, be really open to your talents, and work extremely hard and diligently so that wherever you have the opportunity, if you're auditioning, if you're meeting someone, to be as fully there as you can possibly be, because that's your chance. If you're auditioning, and if you think, oh, well, I'm just going to go in and wing it because I'm pretty and charming, but it happens a lot, you're not giving yourself the opportunity truly to shine. Because at the end of the day, it's the person, as a director now, when I see somebody walk in auditioning for me, I want the whole package. I want to know that they're dedicated, that they're professional, that I can count on them, and that they're brilliant. And that's a lot of things that I need and want. And there are people out there who can provide that, and that's who I'm going to go for, rather than somebody who's going to try to wing it. Do you know what I'm saying? So whatever opportunity you have, step up 100% and be all that you can be. Because then if it works out for you, great. But if it doesn't work out, you know that you gave. And then that's what you can take away from that opportunity. So.
Well, what I would add to that is I think you need a sense of humor, and you need a sense of perspective, and you need to have a life outside of the business. I've seen so many people get consumed by this that it eats up their life, it affects their family lives, their marriages. It is a wonderful, wonderful way to make a living, but it's very difficult, it's very competitive, and it's very mercurial. I mean, there's an old saying that Hollywood is a crapshoot masquerading as a business, masquerading as an art form. I mean, sometimes you just have to be in the right place at the right time. So you need to be able to laugh, you need to be able to go on with your life, to have interest outside of making movies and making television. And then when you get the opportunity to do your best job, but you can't do more than your best job, and just realize that a lot of it is out of your hands. A lot of it has to do with rolling the dice, being in the right place at the right time, knowing the right people. And finally, it beats the hell out of working for a living.
Well, it goes along with don't take yourself too seriously, give yourself a break and, have fun in life, right?
Right.
Absolutely. This is great. I mean, we've only been here for a little while, but the attitude here and the energy here, it's lovely, and everybody seems to be very happy to be here.
Did you have any future projects in the works?
Well, actually, I'm going to be directing another one of Peter's plays coming up probably in the spring. It's called Sweet Talk, which to me is a phenomenal play, and he has adapted it also to a screenplay as well. It's an erotic pas de deux. And I'm very excited because there's a lot of room for creativity and for visual stuff, and we're looking to find some really great actors who can really, be everything that they are, as I said before, and can explore and have fun and be sexy. Very sexy.
So you wrote it?
Yeah, I have about 12 things going on, books, plays. Mostly I'm trying to break 90 in golf. If I could do that, I'd be a very happy man.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much again. I appreciate it. And go enjoy the festival. We look forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.